Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Jed McCaleb has sold half the XRP he received, left with 4.5 billion XRP, and that's the title from a new piece from AMB Crypto, which certainly caught my attention. I didn't realize that to this point he had actually gotten that far along in selling everything off, and he is indeed selling off XRP. That's been quite clear for some time, as quickly as possible. Now, there is an agreement in place with Ripple, the degree to which he is able to offload. And I don't remember all the specifics off the top of my head. I just know there is an agreement in place, and I believe, if memory serves, that it has a lot to do with it being like a percentage of volume or something to that effect, so that Jed McCaleb does not have the ability to flood the market with XRP, suppressing price in any sort of meaningful way. Technically, of course, anytime anybody buys or sells, there's effect on price. Like, you could sell one XRP, and technically there is. It's just not in any sort of meaningly detectable way. So that's all sat well with me this whole time. So I'm going to run through this, and then I've got a few tweets from the XRP community, including one GIF, which I'm going to have to play this video clip for you. I think it's like 13 seconds. Maybe it's not a GIF technically, I don't recall. But Moonbay and I, we watched it, I'm not kidding you, 6 times in a row, cracking up. So it's unrelated to XRP, but an XRP community member shared it. So I just put it in the video. I want to share it with you. So I'll let you know when that's coming up, because I know a lot of people are kind of listening in the background and not necessarily looking at the screen, which is perfectly fine. That's what I do with most of the XRP YouTubers I listen to, and other content providers too. Like, I listen to Joe Rogan a good bit too. But it's good to just be able to do stuff, whether you're driving or walking your dog, whatever, and just get some sort of information and entertainment. So I will let you know when I'm popping that up on the screen. And I don't know, maybe you'll think I'm juvenile, but we laughed a lot. So there we go. And then I'll wrap up the video with this article from Cointelegraph, unrelated but interesting, I thought. Plan A has failed. Global debt to hit $255 trillion, or $12.1 million per Bitcoin. And that's a fun way to calculate it, isn't it? Before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP and perhaps silly short video clips, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. The best channel on all of YouTube, and that's a fact. Put a stamp on that and mail it. The culmination of 2017 bull run gave rise to scores of crypto millionaires and a few billionaires. Jed McCaleb, co-founder of Ripple, was one of the very few who made the list. On his exit from Ripple in 2013, McCaleb held 9 billion XRP and had signed a contract with Ripple to ensure that no huge dumps would take place. However, there have been allegations of McCaleb selling hordes of XRP, but an active XRP member put these allegations to rest. And I have covered that in the past as well. Twitter user Leonidas identified accounts used by Ripple to send XRP to McCaleb's XRP selling wallet, and charted out the sales of XRP over time by the co-founder. Leonidas tweeted, "These are the XRP sent from," and then address is listed, and then another address listed, the wallet that sells Jed's XRP. When the XRP get there, they always get sold, so this is the amount of Jed's XRP being sold compared to the daily CMC volume. And so there you go. And again, in terms of percentages, I don't think it was listed in here, but like I said, it is based on volume. Anyway, according to their deal, Ripple has control over McCaleb's XRP, and it holds 3 distinct accounts, and one account through which it sold XRP via Bitstamp. Then they're listed on the screen right there. Thus, the wallet addresses mentioned by Leonidas are associated with Ripple and indicate a moving of XRP from their wallets to the address that sells McCaleb's XRP. The chart provided by the Twitter user called attention to the sale of XRP and compared it to the daily coin market cap volume. And isn't it something, though, to think about it? There's such world-changing stuff going on in the world of crypto. It's always kind of amazing. Like, this has to be turned into a movie at some point, don't you think? So you got the 3 creators of XRP. You've got Jed McCaleb, who came up with the concept in the first place. So kudos to him. I know he's not with Ripple, and not exactly a cheerleader for XRP anymore. But it wouldn't exist without him. So there's him, and then there's David Schwartz, Ripple's CTO, and Arthur Brito. And it's just fascinating to me that you've got those three that did something that absolutely is going to transform the way in which money moves around the world. And then there was this dramatic falling out, and I'm sure we're not privy to all sorts of the exciting details that underlie it, but wouldn't you love, once more time has passed, especially even if it's like 5 or 10 years from now, wouldn't you love to see a movie? And I'm not talking about like a Hallmark movie or a Lifetime movie, like an actual movie in theaters, a cinematic experience for all to enjoy. I think there's going to be a lot of stories to tell, but I think most of the telling of stories it's probably not going to happen until there's more maturation of the asset class. But I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. But anyway, let me scroll down a little bit further here. So even though the chart reflected similarities between McCaleb's XRP sales and XRP volume on CMC, market cap, the Twitter user pointed out that a huge percent of the total volume was fake. The sale of XRP took place according to the deal with Ripple and saw a no-sell period between January 2019 and June 2019, indicating that McCaleb's XRP sale has not amounted to a large figure that could cause market instability. And Leonidas added, quote, "A huge percent of the total volume is fake. I wanted to check if the sales are being calculated based on a different metric, like the volume from Crypto Compare. The graph doesn't seem to suggest anything changed." And so there you go. Facts are facts, my friends. After revising a few details from the contract in February 2016, the new deal asked McCaleb to donate 2 billion XRP and noted that even though he retained ownership of the 5.3 billion XRP, Ripple will control its release. According to the data, the co-founder has managed to sell half the XRP he received and was left with approximately 4.5 plus billion more. So that's I tell you what, when you have that much XRP, like the XRP price changing from like just 1/10 of a penny, like the implications price-wise of that for you are substantial, right? Can you imagine that? Think about whatever little bits we're holding here, and then, oh man, I can only imagine. But that's why I always say too, like Ripple, with the position that they're in, like they're the most, seriously, with how much XRP they hold, there's a reason they're the greatest cheerleader for the XRP ecosystem. They have the most to lose. Think about that. So it never made sense, the concept of just Ripple wanting to dump. And look at the way they're actually behaving, which is even more important than what they're saying. It's all congruent. So there you are. Everything's fine. I'm just saying. All right, next here, there's this tweet from Kumaran that I came across. And I thought it was fun, so I responded. It was a poll on Twitter. XRP community, are you mentally prepared for another 2-year-long bear market? Yes or no? I went ahead and hit yes. And 60% hit yes, 40% hit no. Now, for me, the reason I hit that, it doesn't mean that I think it's going to be a 2-year bear market. I flatly don't know. I love following chart analysts and that stuff. I'm not a chart analyst. I'm just a fundamentals type of guy. But am I prepared if it takes another 2 years? Yep. And, the question could have been, am I prepared for another 4 years? The answer is yes. 6, 8, 10 for me. All yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. I'm going to be more patient than anybody else. That is, I'm going to be that stubborn. I will be that person, and I will not sell. That's why I've said either I'm right or I'm going to write it to zero, and I don't care. Like that is my attitude. Now I don't think I'm wrong. I am Mr. XRP Bull. Please believe that. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to emphasize, for me personally, not financial advice, but I've decided I am going to be that persistent, that patient, and maybe that stubborn. So there we go. There is a response from Mr. BXRP to that. He wrote this, and I like the response. I want to share it with you. I think XRP holders eventually won't care about bull and bear markets when their asset is in full utility mode. I believe it could find itself in its own classification of digital assets. Indeed, I agree with that. Well said, my friend. And that's what Qumran wrote, and I'm also saying, well said, my friend, indeed. All right, next here, there's a tweet that I put out yesterday after I put out the video, and it was there's a video that I titled "Fake Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse," which is basically it's an interesting piece, and it's in response to something Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out just a couple days or so ago about scam accounts on YouTube specifically. People are losing tons and tons of their XRP, and so it's kind of a public service announcement. So I tweeted out, "Will the real Brad Garlinghouse please stand up? Consider this a PSA, public service announcement. I'm hoping it will help prevent XRP community members from falling victim to scams like this in the future." And it's worth watching the video if you haven't seen it yet. But there's just a fascinating story of a YouTube. It was I believe it was a gaming channel. And there's a gaming YouTube channel that had like 350,000 followers. And it was hijacked and then all the content taken down, but a huge follower base, right? Huge subscriber base. And then it was turned into a Brad Garlinghouse account to scam the XRP community. It's a fascinating, interesting piece. So if you want to check out that video once you're done with this one, I encourage it. I thought I'd highlight some of the responses to that tweet that I found interesting. So Anthony Deziel Jr., I'm sorry if I butchered that, wrote in response to my tweet, smashing with laughy emojis and 2 thumbs up. We Come in Peace wrote, I'm still waiting for my 100,000 XRP, Brad. In response to the... So apparently We Come in Peace got scammed. Nah, he's just teasing. I like that, though. Daily Awkward responded, will the real Brad Garlinghouse please stand up? Put one of those fingers on each hand up. Be proud to be out of your mind and out of control and more time. How does it go? XRP the standard. And then Prakash wrote, I want Brad Garlinghouse to return my XRP as he promised in Twitter. If not, I can't trust him managing trillions of wealth in coming days. So perfect responses. So shout out to all you guys. I appreciate it. All right, now get your phone ready. I warned you that there's a visual piece of this video unrelated to XRP, but came from an XRP community member that I wanted to share with you. I think it goes like 13 seconds. I'm not going to play the sound. Just look at your screen, and I'm going to let this just kind of speak for itself. I laughed, and you can, if you think it's stupid and you don't think it's funny, well, first of all, you're wrong. Grow a sense of... No, I'm just kidding. I just think it's funny if you don't. That's cool. But here you go. It's going in 3, 2, 1. Now. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, here we go. She's jumping over the fence. And, oh, face plant. And getting up. Oh! Oh, yeah, I'm a juvenile, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. There's just something about it. I mean, I hope she didn't get hurt or anything, but, like, that's funny, right? I mean, only as long as she didn't get hurt. If she got hurt, then it's no longer funny. But that's that. So there you go. Now we've seen it twice. All right, I'm moving on. You can make fun of me. It's fine. Anyway, Cointelegraph.com. Plan A has failed. Global debt to hit $255 trillion or $12.1 million per Bitcoin. The world's combined debt will hit $255 trillion by the end of 2019, equal to $32,500 for each person on the planet, or $12.1 million per Bitcoin. And by the way, fun fact, I don't know if most of you realize this, do you know what it takes to be in the 1% of income earners in the world? Not the United States, because that's where most of over half of the viewers of my channel are. But what does it take to be in 1% of, the 1% of income earners in the world? Do you know what it is? Some of you know. Probably most people don't. It's roughly, I'll give you the rough number. You can Google it, fact check me on this. I'm roughly correct. It's about, if you earn about $32,000 per year, you are in the top 1% of income earners in the world. You are a 1%er, if that's what you earn. Think about that. And so here they say $32,500 for each person on the planet worth of debt. It tells me some people have more debt than others, right? God. And it's probably, I'm sure, not just entities. But anyway, Bitcoin figures reacted with shock to the latest figures from the Institute of International Finance, which this month updated its global debt monitor. By the end of the year, the world's debt will have expanded by an extra $12 trillion compared to the end of 2018. The timely data comes as United States national debt alone hits $23 trillion, with the Federal Reserve undaunted by the idea of debt continuing to expand. As Cointelegraph reported, while Fed Chair Jerome Powell has described the current debt trajectory as unsustainable, he considers there to be no critical problems with not paying it off. Yeah, right. For Bitcoin proponents, however, the verdict on the fiat economy creating over $12 million of debt for each Bitcoin that will ever exist was obvious. Yeah, but it's not like it's all going to flow. The comparison to that still doesn't necessarily make sense, but okay, it's if you want to have fun with numbers. So anyway, Plan A has already failed, online analyst Rhythm summarized on November 15th. Right? Never before has the combined debt of the world been so high. As Bitcoin continues to rise in prominence, efforts have increased to educate consumers about its benefits as hard money, money which no authority or single actor can manipulate. Fiat currency, on the other hand, can be manipulated ad infinitum by central banks through economic policy. Continuing arguments made by Sefedian, I don't know if I'm saying that, Amos, in his popular book, The Bitcoin Standard, Trace Meyer this week appealed to listeners of the Tales from the Crypt podcast to take back control of their finance. Isn't that Tales from the Crypto? Isn't that what it's... Am I mistaken? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, whatever. Are you going to claim your monetary sovereignty? Hold your own private keys, run your own full node. That's how you fight the war today, he said. Yeah, and so that comes more from the Bitcoin maxi perspective. I personally, look, if some people, or a lot of people, I don't care how many people, want to hold their own keys, that's fine, but I'm telling you, people the world over, are not all of them are going to want the same thing. So this whole vision of everybody just holding their own private keys and the world running purely on Bitcoin, it's a fantasy land. People want different things. People have different incentives, different motivators, and there are going to be all sorts of different currencies for the entirety of mankind. That's not going to change. And some people will want other entities responsible, because the idea of losing all that you have if you lose a private key, for some people, that's going to be too much. People are going to want to have their whatever they own in crypto assets to be insured in some way. And you're going to see development of that type of thing continue. So that's what I think anyway. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!